everybody. Welcome back. Wednesday night edition. We're jumbling up the schedule. We've got coaches, like I said, that are going right now practicing. Thomas McDaniel's practicing right now. Chandler Tygart and the Cleveland is going right now. And Burt Brown is on a radio show, so I interrupted him, but we're going to get him back on. He's going to join us a little bit after 7. In about a few minutes, but was able to get a hold of a coach, an old friend of ours who was in a big battle this past Friday night, the head coach of the Ravenwood Raptors, head coach Will Hester. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing good, Stuart. Got practice in this morning before daylight and enjoying a little early evening off.
Well, you got into a little old battle last Friday night and found a little bit about yourself. Take us a little bit through that Alcoa game and what you found out about the Ravenwood Raptors.
Yeah, a bunch of our young pups that were starting for the first time grew up, showed, it was a 21-7 game with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We had done some good things, were unable to punch it in to cut it any closer to that. Then, unfortunately, they got a couple in the last 5 minutes of the game there in order to stretch it out, ended up being 35-14. But I'm proud of the guys. Obviously, we learned a lot about ourselves, and now we can build off that and move on to Cane Ridge.
What was when you got into the flow of the game, what was their reaction? I mean, you kind of knew. You knew what Coach Nix was wanting to go do. They attack and they're a very aggressive football club and everything, but for somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of experience, playing a team like that, they're just a little bit different as they step off the bus, aren't they, Coach? I mean, they're a state championship football team. I mean, they thrive on it.
Absolutely, and that's what I was probably most proud of our team. There was some, stuff that could have gone against us early and allowed us to get down on ourselves. But they were able to, fight through and back through colors. Thought our defense played really well against a very potent offense. The receivers, G, still had a good game, had a couple of big catches, 1 touchdown. And then obviously the Canyon young man is a phenomenal running back and linebacker, super physical kid. But I was proud of the way our kids held up against them most of the night.
Do you think, just watching them run up and down the field, do you think that oldest rivalry game, one of the oldest rivalries in the state of Tennessee is the Alcoa-Maryville game. Are they going to be able to give Maryville all they want?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game. Alcoa probably not as strong on the line of scrimmage as they've been the last couple of years, especially last year's team that I think did beat Maryville. But they're very talented in the skill positions, and I think it's going to be one heck of a game. If I wasn't busy that night, I'd love to buy a ticket.
What did you find out mostly about your quarterback and how well he executed Friday night and for the Ravenwood Raptors?
Yeah, we played a couple of them. I think they both did some good things. We've settled on one to start this week, and we're excited to see what he does. Just a young sophomore kid. Showed a lot of poise Friday night, and excited to give him his opportunity and see what he does with it.
Special teams-wise, Coach, how did you feel like you did Friday?
Did great. Had a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Attempted a 55-yard field goal.
Wow.
That's a little bit short on that, but the young man is, just a junior, great leg. And, with a little bit of wind, he was into the wind that time, but with a little wind behind him, could have been tied the school record.
Wow. Yeah, I think the school record is 60-something, isn't it?
60-something is the state record. 55 is the Ravenwood High School record.
Okay. You know what? I saw James Wilhoit try to break the state record. Phillip played him. He was at Hendersonville. Phillip played him. And Wilhoit tried to do it right before the end of the first half. He tried to bust the record, and came up just a little bit short. But boy, went on to Tennessee and now runs a kicking clinic here around in the area, and he's trained a lot of kickers, hadn't he, Coach?
Heck yeah, I think he works a little bit with the Titans. James does a lot of great stuff. He trains most of the high-level kickers in Middle Tennessee for sure and across the state.
Okay, so we move on to Cane Ridge. They took one. They took a loss just like you did, but played Mount Juliet. And that was a Thursday night game last week. When you flip on the film and you start to look at them and start to figure out the Cane Ridge, what comes to mind? Even though they're well coached, we know that. So, but what comes to mind with you as a head coach?
Yeah, Eddie Woods always has his teams ready to play. I think they're a young team too. When you pull out the roster and look at them, the guys making great plays are youngsters. Another one of James Reese's sons starting at quarterback for them. Seems like there's been 10 or 15 Reese's come through there in the most recent years, but I think this is the youngest one now playing quarterback and super talented. If they wouldn't have turned the ball over a couple of times early against Mount Juliet, they'd probably come away with a victory that night. But any time you strap it up against a team coached by Eddie Woods, they're going to be fast and physical on defense and super solid on offense.
Penalty-wise, how did you do last Friday night? Did you have some offsides or false starts, or what? How did you come out there?
It was about average. I mean, unfortunately, kind of what you expect in a first game, some legal procedure stuff, some kind of movement shifting stuff, quarterback snapping the ball before everybody's set, getting a little too excited, things like that. Hopefully we'll get those cleaned up, and it'll be a little cleaner game this week. But I would say it was about average for most game ones.
Injury-wise, how'd you come away, Coach?
We got banged up a little bit. Hopefully nothing that keeps anybody out too extensive amount of time. But I would say all in all, we're pretty healthy for this time of year. Most teams have some bumps and bruises after a long camp period. So excited to get some guys back in the coming weeks, but we're about as healthy as we could be.
And that'll be a home game for you all, won't it? Another home game?
It is. Yeah, home game.
Well, you get a chance to crank up that big screen one more time.
Yeah, one more time for sure, Stuart.
How'd it look? How did it work? Everything work?
It was awesome, and then we've used it in practice. Those scout cards that we like to hold up, we can put up on the jumbotron now, and the guys can look at them. We don't have to flip through the old book and do all that kind of stuff like we have to in the past. So it was awesome. We had some pretty cool graphics made. It was senior night. It was a good night for those seniors to be able to be put up on the screen, that kind of stuff. But it was awesome.
Well, congratulations and everything. We wish you the best of luck Friday night when you go against Cane Ridge, and hopefully you'll be 1-1 after Friday night.
Sounds great, Stuart. Thank you, buddy.
See you. Bye.